Hello students. See, today we are moving on to the next chapter. I mean to say soon after the completion of excretory products and their elimination, which is taken by the SP sir. Here today we are moving on to the next chapter, that is locomotion and movements. So very simple chapter and very easy to understand. Every day we look at this these words, that is locomotion and movements. Say for example, while taking class, if I move from one location to the other location, yes or no, every time all the teachers can move from one location to the other location. So that time definitely you people are going to observe this locomotion and movements. Yes, so not only this one, here while explaining I am going to make movement of my hands. Yes, so the movement takes place in case of eyes, in case of jaw. Yes, so every time I am going to open my mouth and close my mouth. So consider as kind of locomotion or kind of movement. This is what. See, not only this one, whatever you take, that is, it may be living object or it may be non-living object. So a better and more preferably will take the living object. So all the living objects can show or they can exhibit the locomotion and movements. So what are those? We'll go each one by one. When we have an amoeba, I mean to say we'll take a very simple example, that is amoeba. So being a single cell or being a unicellular organism, this amoeba can show or it can exhibit a kind of movement with the help of the pseudopodia, as we know that. Yes, pseudopodia refers to it can move from one location to the other location. Say for example, here we have one amoeba. At the same time, here we will be having one small prey. I mean the food material for this one, and it can capture this food. Means it has to locomote or it can be displaced from this location to this location. So during that time, this amoeba can use its extended part. So that extended part is nothing but pseudopodia. With the help of pseudopodia, definitely it can move from this location to this location. Now it can eat the prey or the food material. This is the one thing. In the same time, when we have some of the examples like yes, we have some example, nothing but paramecium. Yes, paramecium. So which is lined by a small fine hair-like structures. So those are nothing but cilia. Yes, the fine hair-like structures which are present on the surface of the paramecium, considered as cilia. So these cilia also can show or they can exhibit the movement during locomotion. So when this is present in the water body, the regular movement of or the streaming movement, better word is the streaming movement of the cilia can leads to the movement of this paramecium from one location to the other location or from one place to the other place. This is also a kind of movement in case of paramecium. And when we have some bacteria, that is Kingdom Monera, or we can take the example of that is Euglena. Yes. So here we will be having what? The locomotory organs. Here we have locomotory organs. So here we have a locomotory organ called as flagella, and again we have a flagella. So this bacteria may contain one flagella, sometimes they contain two, or sometimes they contain bulge, that is flagella, that is monotrichous, lapotrichous, lopotrichous, yes or no, amphitrichous. So based on that, whatever it may be, but these flagella, they play a very important role in the movement of the organisms from one location to the other location or from one place to the other place. So this is what the locomotory organ. So for that reason, that flagella is simply considered as locomotory organ. At the same time, this is about smaller organism. Yes, and when we take higher organism, that is human beings, here we will be having that is tongue. When we take jaw, yes, when we take hand, when we take legs, yes. So these all definitely can exhibit a kind of locomotion or the that is movement. So, and one important thing is that here all locomotions leads to movement, but all movement cannot give the locomotion. So for that reason, better you take the one important sentence. All locomotion nothing but movement. Yes, all locomotions are movements, but not all movements are locomotions. Do remember? Yes. So all locomotions are movements, but not all movements are locomotion. This is one statement regarding to this chapter. Yes. And here, when we have, I mean to say, while writing, I am going to lift my hand, a kind of movement, a kind of locomotion. Yes or no? So this is what dealing with this chapter. And in case of human beings, particularly in case of humans, a particular, that is locomotion and movement is taking place. That movement and the locomotion is taking place with the help of, that too in a very well coordinated, controlled and coordinated manner. So that must be taken place with the help of what? The coordinated manner. That is the coordination with skeletal system. Remember, that is coordination with the skeletal system. Also, it has to be, or it must coordinated with the muscular system. Skeletal system nothing but bones, same time muscular system, and last one is neural system. Am I right or wrong? Say for example, the person who is standing straight, nothing but without any function. Yes, he is at rest. So suddenly he start running, suddenly he start walking, means first and foremost the neural system has to be come into action. Definitely the neural system has to be come into action. Same time the skeletal system as well as the muscular system has to be made functional. Then only the particular individual can locomote or can move from one place to the another place. And the most important thing to understand is these three, that is skeletal system, muscular and neural system, has to work very well coordinated manner, in a very well coordinated manner. Yes. Next, when we have the movements, when we have movements, I mean what kind of movements are there? What, how many different types of movements are there? Yes. In that, first one is flagellar movements. Second one, ciliary movements, and third one is muscular movements. So flagellar movements, ciliary movements, and muscular movements. So very simple to understand is, in case of flagellar movements, as we know the word flagella, it is mainly acts as a, I mean to say that flagella mainly acts as a locomotory organ. In when we take an example of Monera, when we take an example of Euglena and some other protistans, definitely they will be having flagella as their locomotory organ. So during that time, these all flagella can help in the movement of an organism. Yes or no? Movement of an organism. So only with the help of these locomotion or the movement of flagella, these organisms can move. So for that reason, it is a kind of what? The locomotion or the movement. And sometimes we have a cell. Imagine we have a cell. Just example, when we have a cell, so within this cell we will be having the nucleus. Imagine it's the nucleus. So when you remove this nucleus, and remaining part is considered as cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. See, within this watery or fluid cytoplasm, all the cell organelles are going to make the streaming movement, as you can understand. See, ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, mitochondria, whatever the different cell organelles are there, those all cell organelles can make the streaming movement. Means they can move from this location to this location, or from the, I mean to say, the better word is they can wander around the cytoplasm, or we can call it as protoplasm. So simply consider as protoplasmic movement. See here, what chromatin material all together considered as protoplasmic movement. It is simply considered as protoplasmic movement. See, this is one. At the same time, ciliary movement, as the name itself indicating the meaning like flagellar movement. Here the flagella acts as a locomotory organ, and here ciliary movement refers to the cilia can show or cilia can exhibit the movement. Hence, it is called as ciliary movement. Here I can give you some of the examples. That is paramecium. So that paramecium can so which contain, as I told you, the diagrammatic representation. Here it will be having the fine hair-like structures on this body surface. So those are simply nothing but cilia. So when there is a movement takes place in the cilia, resulting in the movement takes place in the paramecium, considered as ciliary movement. Along with the paramecium, also we have some other examples. Some other examples like respiratory system. When we have respiratory system, and one more is reproductive system. Reproductive system, nothing but we can call it as fallopian tube. Yes or no? So these respiratory system as well as the fallopian tube of reproductive system contain so the epithelial tissue. Note down epithelial tissue. Say for example, here we have female reproductive system, and this is nothing but reproductive system in the particularly fallopian tube. Nothing but fallopian tube. Here this is lined by the epithelial tissue. So that epithelial tissue refers to ciliated epithelium. It is considered as ciliated epithelium. So that ciliated epithelium play a very wonderful role in the movement of the egg from there. That is the reason. Okay, this region is considered as ampulla. Remember, this is considered as ampulla or infundibulum. So these cilia play a very important role in the movement of egg in the fallopian tube, right from ampulla or the infundibulum to the isthmus. So these are the different regions of fallopian tube. So this can take place. From here to here. This is what ciliary epithelium. And one more is respiratory system. As we know that. Yes. Imagine here we will be having trachea. Yes. This trachea, whole trachea system, tracheal system is lined by the again the ciliated epithelium. That is ciliated epithelium. So this ciliated epithelium play a very wonderful role in that. One thing is it is going to prevent any foreign particles or any unwanted particles which are trying to enter into the body through the respiratory system. So those antigens or those particles can be attached or it is going to trap by the cilia. Yes, the ciliary movement can trap the antigens, resulting in that you will get sneezing. So that sneezing means it can take away the foreign particles or the antigens. So nothing but, and this one. And along with that, mucus. Yes, mucus also can move only in one direction, that is from tracheal system to out of the body. So that is also carried by the mucus. The mucus movement is also carried by with the help of this ciliary movement. Clear? And last one, that is muscular movement. As you know that already we discussed in the chapter what structural organization in animals. Yes. So again, when we talk about this muscular movement, in this there are three. One is first one is skeletal muscles. Second one is visceral muscles, also called as smooth muscles, and last one is cardiac muscles. So very simple to understand. Here skeletal muscles means those muscles are in association with the bones. Please note it. Those muscles which are in association with the bones called as skeletal muscles. Nothing but the hand or whatever, that is biceps, they are considered as skeletal muscles. And visceral muscles refers to smooth muscles. Here the word smooth muscles refers to. So here some of the organs in our body, nothing but the small intestine, large intestine, stomach, those all are made up of, that is visceral muscles or smooth muscles. Here what happens? The kind of movement takes place during the digestion. That is also come under visceral or smooth muscle movement, considered as muscular movement. And one thing important thing is, here skeletal muscles also called as striated muscles. Here the word striated muscles means those skeletal muscles contain striations. Here the word striations refers to, they contain alternate dark and light bands. They are considered as striated muscles. And one more is visceral muscles. They are also called as smooth muscles and also called as non-striated muscles. They are also called as non-striated muscles because they do not contain alternate light and dark bands. And last one is cardiac muscles. They are exclusively present in the heart. Yes, and they are self-excitable, yes or no? And they will be having what? They never get fatigue and they are in continuous work right from day of birth to till end of your day. So it can beat continuously. They are nothing but they are made up of cardiac muscles, and those cardiac muscles also called as striated muscles. Yes, they are considered as striatable muscles, and they are self-excitable. Yes, and excitement, yes, and flexibility. Those all present in case of the skeletal muscle, visceral muscle, and as well as the cardiac muscles. These three come under the muscular movement. So in case of human beings as well as in case of whatever the organism, mainly we are going to observe three movements. One is flagellar, ciliar and muscular movements. In the muscular, skeletal muscle, visceral muscle and cardiac muscle. And in tomorrow's class we will discuss about how the muscles are made of and what are things are involved in the muscles. So we will see the tomorrow's class. Thank you very much.